going to talk a little bit about my story, The Roundness. The Roundness is a story about a 14-year-old girl who discovers that she is pregnant, and it is told in two separate threads. The present tense that deals with the aftermath, and then a past tense reflection that looks at the discovery of her pregnancy and everything that went along with that and how she and her family dealt with it. And my inspiration for the story also came from two distinct places. The first was my own, probably my own experience with pregnancy and childbirth, because even though I was older and married when I had my first son, and well informed, I did lots of reading, I was still very much taken aback by the sense of helplessness and the lack of control that came particularly with the birth itself. And when I started to reflect on it and write about it afterwards, I found that the voice that I was taking on was actually kind of childlike. And so that translated into the early drafting of this story. And the second inspiration came, as it often does for me, from reading a news story about a plane stranded on a tarmac at an airport, at the Toronto airport, and the passengers were stranded overnight in a snowstorm. And the story was essentially about how when the grounds crew finally came to get them in the morning, they stumbled upon this, near apocalyptic scene with plugged toilets and no food, and passengers who were like disheveled and traumatized. So often I'll read stories like that, and then a question will form, well, what would it be like if you were on that plane with a baby? How would you handle it? And so mixing that with my own personal experience is often how a story will form initially in my head. And I have to say, after I heard that news story, I sat down and the first draft of The Roundness came out pretty quickly and fully formed.